Alright, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I am going to do an ambitious crash course video real quick on the 1 to 4 family contract, buy to close, and highlight some of the most critical junctures in the contract that I believe first-time home buyers should be aware of. So, right off the bat, you got to get your pre-approval, and you get that through a variety of banking institutions, mortgage loan officers. I would love to help you guys get a pre-approval note. There's some minimum down payment requirements, 3.5% for FHA loans, 3% for conventional loans, but there's also down payment assistance grants, second lien grants, and affordable DPA programs that are out there. So once you get that pre-approval letter, be aware that the pre-approval amount is kind of contingent also on the specific property, because sometimes property taxes are going to be much more on a new construction versus maybe a resale. So that's going to determine your monthly payment, and then your DTI, debt to income ratio calculation, will be affected that way. So sales price or pre-approval amount isn't necessarily going to be a set amount. It's going to be contingent on the exact property. All right, so once you have that, we go out, start shopping, and we find a home. Say it's a great home, you love it, dream home, I want it. Put in an offer, we get the right terms going, and get it accepted. And as soon as you do get it accepted, you're entering into likely the option period. I said this is a crash course, and I'm going to do my absolute best to highlight the important parts. But basically, every contract and deal is going to be different. And sometimes you don't even have an option period if you're really gung-ho for a property and it's in a very competitive market. We were doing that a little bit a couple of years ago sometimes. If it was a really good condition home and that sort of thing, in order to win the deal, we wouldn't even have an option period. But you enter into the option period, and you deliver the earnest money and option fee accordingly to the contract, usually within 2 days of entering into that option period. That option period will give you time to evaluate the home, due diligence, run your comps. If you're uneasy at all, just with the home or just with the purchase process in general, and you just want to walk away for any reason, you have the unrestricted right to terminate during that option period. And that option period usually lasts about 5 to 7 days. You can have a competitive contract that's only a 2-day option period, but that gets us going. You're also concurrently in the buyer approval time frame. And that buyer approval time frame can be set on the contract, maybe 10 to 20 days if it's more of a buyer's market, and if you want to be generous to yourselves and give yourself enough time to ensure that buyer approval process is going smoothly as planned. So you can have that going as well, and you'll be submitting lender documentation to an underwriter, hopefully as soon as you get under contract, and get you qualified specifically for that home. And they're going to be looking at everything from employment, recent pay stub returns, HOA documentation, tax returns, just a variety of things, divorce decrees, anything that could really be a determining factor on the qualification criteria for your specific scenario. And then once you're kind of beyond the option period, once you've negotiated repairs, because you do the inspection during the option period, really a lot of things happen during the option period. It's the most critical time, and I should probably have a video that's entirely dedicated to the option period. But for brevity, you do the inspection in the option period, and you negotiate the repairs. And most of the time, a couple $1,000s worth of repairs are easily negotiated. Sometimes that can be in the form of a seller credit, a discount on the sales price, or a promise to repair certain items before the date of closing, or a combination of the two. Once those terms have been established in an amendment in writing, and we move forward, and you go beyond the option period. And really, once you're beyond the option period, that's a pretty strong, commitment to the home process. You want to be sure that, you're not leaving it at the discretion of a lender late in the game to determine whether you do not qualify for a home, that you're uncomfortable about, or that you do qualify for a home that you are comfortable about, that you don't, or you're not comfortable about, that you want to remove yourself from the contract. Beyond the option period, your earnest money is now at stake, less the buyer approval time frame. If you don't get approved during the concurrent buyer approval time frame, that's usually 10 to 15 days, then you can be withdrawn from the contract with a letter from the lender stating that the borrower approval process, income calculations didn't go to as expected, and that you can exit yourself from the contract, get the earnest money back, and unfortunately you will lose the option fee, but that will be all. So you are moving along in that buyer approval time frame, and the appraisal has also been ordered during that time frame, and the lender is going to be doing that. You'll need to pay for that in advance, and that will be taking place hopefully within 15 days. Sometimes it can be as long as 20, even 30 or 45 days if you have a larger banking institution. Sometimes those things get a little bit backlogged. So once you get that appraisal back, and you are also have received the buyer approval back from the underwriter, there's a kind of final determination of overall buyer approval according to the property value of the appraisal, and buyer approval according to the success of the income calculations and employment buyer approval financing portion. So those two get taken care of, and you are pretty much on to closing. There's not a lot of room for additional negotiations, last minute kind of things falling apart. It's that first 15 or so days of the contract are super critical. That option period and that buyer approval time frame, everything really needs to be handled from the buyer side during that time frame. Now, closing is usually 30 to 45 days out, so there's a 2-week time frame that if the sellers have agreed to negotiate any repairs, then they will be doing that at that time. And you can do a final walkthrough. Then we're on a closing, you get the clear to close from the lender, and you get the final walkthrough. Do a final walkthrough at the property, usually a day or two before closing, to make sure that any of the repair items were done properly, and there's necessary receipts associated with the repairs. Those are all being paid for and managed according to the terms of the contract. And then you're there. You get the funding from the letter with the final closing disclosure notice, and you are going to be sending your portion of the cash to close proceeds to the title company as well, and head to closing. Show up, sign the papers, and file your homestead exemption as soon as you can. That's the crash course of 1 to 4 family contracts and the process that you may experience in brief. Again, I think the key takeaways from this are really the option period and the borrower approval time frame. Those first 14 days are so crucial, guys. You want to make sure you're managing all of your expectations for the home emotionally, condition-wise, just being committed to it based on the terms that you guys come to during those first few weeks. All right, hope that's a good start. I want to have another video here soon about the option period, though. We can go into detail about some key things to take care of as far as repairs go in building a successful contract for everyone. All right, hope you enjoyed that. Take care, subscribe, have a few more videos coming for you soon. Have a good day.